Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really jumping into some foundational concepts in full stack development.
That's right.
Our source material, it's actually a mock interview guide for a .NET Core full stack role. So pretty technical stuff.
Yeah, it gets right down to it.
And our mission is basically to pull out the key insights, maybe some surprising bits from these questions, give you a shortcut to understanding these important topics.
Exactly. And, we're not just reading definitions. We want to get into why these things matter, how they actually affect application design, performance, all that.
Yeah, how it all fits together.
You'll see how these different pieces create those smooth online experiences we kind of expect now.
Okay, so let's kick things off right at the foundation. This one, I think, really changed the game. .NET Core versus the traditional .NET framework. What's the essential difference there?
Right. It's a big shift. The old .NET framework, that was really just for Windows. And it was quite monolithic, like one big package. Yeah. .NET Core, though, was built for, well, now. It's cross-platform, runs on Windows, Linux, Mac OS. It's open source, too.
Ah, right.
And it's very modular, really optimized for performance, especially in, cloud environments. It was Microsoft embracing, a wider world. More flexibility, more portability for developers.
That makes a lot of sense. So if you're building something new today, .NET Core is pretty much the way to go.
Generally, yes. For new development, absolutely. It offers huge advantages.
Okay, fascinating. So sticking with .NET Core, when a request comes into your application, how does it get handled before, your actual code sees it?
This is where middleware comes in, right?
Exactly. Middleware is super important in .NET Core. Think of it like a pipeline.
A pipeline.
Yeah, series of components. Each HTTP request and the response going back out flows through this pipeline. Each component or a piece of middleware does a specific job.
Okay, like what kind of job?
Well, a really common one is authentication. You have middleware that checks if a user is logged in before the request goes any further.
Ah, like a bouncer at a club. Kind of, yeah. If you're not authenticated, it might redirect you or just send back an error. Stops unauthorized access right at the start.
Makes sense.
Another big one is error handling. You can have middleware that catches exceptions that happen anywhere in your app. So instead of try-catch blocks everywhere.
Right, yeah.
One piece of middleware handles it cleanly, maybe shows a nice error page, keeps things tidy, secure, and it's really configurable. The order matters too.
That sounds incredibly useful for keeping code clean.
It really is.
All right, let's shift gears. Let's talk front-end React. We always hear about the virtual DOM. What is it actually doing? Is it really magic for performance?
It feels like magic sometimes, but it's clever engineering. Basically, the virtual DOM is a lightweight copy, an in-memory representation of the real browser DOM.
Okay, a copy.
Yeah. Now, the browser's DOM, the real one, manipulating that directly can be slow, really slow, especially if you're changing lots of things.
Right, I've heard that.
So what React does is when your application state changes, it first updates this virtual DOM, the copy. Then it does a very fast comparison, it's called diffing, between the new virtual DOM and the previous version it remembers.
It finds the differences.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And here's the key part. React then calculates the absolute minimum number of changes needed to make the real browser DOM match the new virtual DOM.
Ah, so it doesn't just redraw everything.
Precisely. It avoids those big, expensive redraws of the whole page or large parts of it. It just makes tiny, targeted updates to the actual DOM. That's why UI updates feel so much faster and smoother in React apps.
That's brilliant. So it's an abstraction layer that handles the messy, slow browser stuff efficiently.
You got it. It optimizes things behind the scenes, letting developers focus more on what the UI should look like declaratively.
Fantastic. So what a tour. We went from .NET Core's cross-platform power
Flexibility
to
there.
the structure middleware brings to handling requests.
That pipeline idea.
And then peeling back the layers on React's virtual DOM and how it speeds things up. Really foundational stuff.
Absolutely. And, these aren't just technical terms to memorize for an interview or something. They represent really important ideas about how we build software today.
How so?
Well, think about it. Cross-platform means broader reach. Middleware means more organized, secure back-end processing. The virtual DOM means a more responsive user experience. They're all aiming for efficiency, responsiveness, scalability.
The things we need for modern apps.
Exactly. So maybe the thought to leave you with is, these clever ideas running underneath the surface are what make the apps you use every day feel so seamless. It's worth appreciating that hidden engineering sometimes.